This is an instructional video on the use of the BoreMaster digital multi-bore gauge. This is how you receive the BoreMaster directly from the factory, and these are the BoreMaster instructions. Remember that when all else fails, please read the instructions. Now, when you get the BoreMaster from the factory, you open a box, and contained in here is this plastic parts envelope. This contains an extra battery, and it also contains the parts to read barrel wall thickness. This is the BoreMaster multi-bore gauge as it comes from the factory. As you can see, it is off, and there's no reading on here. When you use the multi-bore gauge, you always clasp it with three fingers, and you clasp it below any interference with the slide. As you can see, this is spring-loaded in the opposite direction that you would normally consider a spring-loaded device. So in order to arm this, what we would do is hit the blue button for on, and we push this all the way up to the top of the slide, keeping considerable pressure on your thumb, and then hit 0 to get a 0 reading. The first thing we want to do is take the calibration ring which we supply, which is 0.725 inches. Every time we measure with the BoreMaster, we always compress the springs, and we insert it into a bore, or in this case into the calibration ring, and let it go gently, and just give it a little touch with your hand. And as you can see, this is reading 0.725, so it's exactly on. We know the BoreMaster is calibrated correctly, and to read a shotgun barrel, we always recommend that you hold the barrel horizontally and you hold the BoreMaster vertical, so this handle is in a vertical direction. Now, to measure this barrel bore, all you do is insert the probes into the barrel, let them go gently, give it a little wiggle on here so the beads set in, and this is going to give you the exact reading. As you can see, the reading of this bore is 0.725 inches, which is exactly correct. Now, to read choke, you strike 0 on the yellow button, and you extract the BoreMaster, always compressing the springs to do that. And then you insert it into the bore of the gun. Okay, and this is reading 17 thousandths choke on this lower barrel. Now we're going to read the upper barrel. Again, you establish a 0 point by pushing the BoreMaster probes all the way to the top, and then you insert the BoreMaster probes gently, let them go. Okay, give it a little wiggle here to let the probe set in. Okay, and as you can see, this barrel is measuring in at 724 inches. You hit 0. In order to read the choke, you extract the BoreMaster, always compress the springs first, and then you just set the two beads inside the choke end, and you read your choke dimension, which in this case is 2 thousandths. That's a skeet choke. To measure chamber length, just compress the springs of the BoreMaster, insert into the chamber by letting them go, and push it into the chamber until you hit your forcing cone. When you strike the forcing cone, you just read the chamber length on the probes. In this case, we all know that a Parazzi is 2 3/4 inches, and it's reading it right here, or 70 millimeters. In order to read your forcing cone dimensions, again, strike 0, enter the BoreMaster all the way into the chamber. Okay, if you remember, that dimension was 726 before, it still is. Okay, and now as we extract the BoreMaster, letting it do its work without interference, when we start to feel the forcing cone, you can see that this forcing cone is starting at about 3 3/4 inches, and this is giving you forcing cone dimensions. As we all know, these dimensions are virtually impossible to get, but this is just standard operating procedure for the BoreMaster, no problems at all. Now, there's a single dimension here that is also considered difficult to get. Again, we'll zero the BoreMaster, and that is your chamber dimensions. And here, for example, I'm readily reading the end of the chamber. In this case, the end of this chamber is 0.815. Okay, now I'm going to illustrate the use of the BWT device, or barrel wall measurement. These parts are what we send along with the BoreMaster. Here's the extra battery. This is the BWT clip. These are two O-rings that act as reverse springs, and this is a 25 thousandths calibration strip. Now to use the BWT device, you simply compress the BoreMaster spring so the two probes are together, and then put the O-ring right on the probes. And then we pull the probes in the open position in the opposite direction of the standard spring, and we push on the BWT device. Sometimes it's good to just get it straight by pushing it down on the table like this. As you can see, this third bead and the top of the BWT device are now reading together. So what we've done is essentially we're capable of reading this barrel wall dimension here. The way we use this now is we zero, as we did before, but now this is a different 0 point. Let it go back and forth and set it into the plastic piece. As you can see, it still reads 0. This is a 25 thousandths calibration strip, okay, just in terms of proving that dimension. And here, as you could see, we're reading 26 thousandths, which is way close enough in terms of reading barrel wall thickness. So this is ready to read any barrel wall. To read the barrel wall thickness, you simply pick up a barrel, insert the probes, give it a wiggle, let it settle in. As you can see, the barrel wall thickness on this Perazzi is 37 thousandths at this point, and that's 6 inches into the bore. And then, of course, you can measure it anywhere around the bore also. You can measure it on this side here. Okay, this side is reading 38 thousandths. So a thousandth isn't much. A human hair is roughly 2/1000ths of an inch, so a thousandth of an inch is not much. And this is simply how you use the barrel wall feature. To unload the barrel wall feature, you simply pull the probes apart, and you pull off the BWT device, compress the probes, take off the O-ring, and you're back to normal again. Now, in order to confirm these readings, for those of you who are doubting Thomases, I brought along a standard 3-button gauge that is, typically considered the standard of the industry. Of course, this does not read specific numbers like the BoreMaster. What this reads is differential numbers. So, in order to set this up, we take our 7.25 calibration ring, and we insert this in to set the standard. As you can see, this is now reading 0 inches. Okay, we insert this into the bottom, insert into the bottom barrel. As you can see, we got 724 before, and that's exactly what we have here. We're 1/1000th below the 0.724. On the top barrel, we got 0.725. And that's exactly what that's reading there. As you can see, it's under 0.725. To read the choke, simply extract it and put the 3 balls at the end. That's reading 2/1000ths, which is exactly what we got before. And then reading on the bottom barrel, it was 17 thousandths, and that's exactly what we have on this